Arkansas 19, Tennessee 14. There was a widely viewed consensus this year amongst a lot of fans, I think, and some media pundits as well, that Sam Pittman was going to come in, give it the old college try, and just say, shucks, we tried, and then they would mutually agree to part ways. And Sam Pittman has knocked off Auburn and Tennessee. And I tell you what, he gets a woo pig suey on this show for knocking off the Vols, who are playing a really good football. I asked a question about Tennessee going into this game. What's going to happen when they meet a team, or if they meet a team, that doesn't let them just run the football at will until the end of time? Well, we found out less than 5 yards a carry, which isn't itself a bad number at 4.8. Dylan Sampson had 22 carries, 138 yards, and 2 scores. It's not itself bad, but Tennessee wasn't able to just hand the football off and dominate on the ground. And Nico, 17 of 29 for 158 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. 4 sacks for this Arkansas defense. This is a heck of a statement by the Razorbacks. This is a heck of a statement by Sam Pittman and company. What does this say about the Vols? That they're teetering. 10-2 for Tennessee gets you in the playoff. But with this loss now, 9-3 is not going to get it done. Tennessee still has to play, wait for it, Alabama. That game is in 2 weeks. They've got Florida at home, and Florida surprised me, by the way. Credit to the Gators. I thought they'd go. I can't pick Florida. There are a couple teams I've been red hot picking this year. There are a couple teams I can't pick for the life of me. And I tell you what, I can't pick Florida. Every big game, I have been on the wrong side for the Gators. They dominated UCF at home. So Billy Napier and Sam Pittman, guys who everyone thinks, they're just going to get fired here pretty soon. Well, I don't know. They keep winning football games. Tennessee certainly looked vulnerable. They're going to go back home to Neyland Stadium next week before they play Alabama the following week. That game is also at home. So is Kentucky. So is Mississippi State. Should be able to win several of those football games. Tennessee's not done as a playoff contender, but this is a pretty bad outcome for the Vols. This is what you had to avoid. The Alabama and Georgia games, as much as I lament, by the way, I guess we don't overlook Vanderbilt. I guess they're on the road last week of the season. If Bama can lose there, anybody can. So I guess we'll circle back to that one around the time of Thanksgiving on November 30th. But this was what Tennessee had to avoid if they wanted an easy path to the playoff. Because now you have to beat Alabama or Georgia. Bama's the more likely of the two, I think, because they're at home. Now, Bama's a better team, or are they? I don't know. You make the call there. You have to go at Georgia. I don't think you're winning that football game. 9-3, not getting you in. Because right now, the best win that Tennessee has is at Oklahoma. It's a good win. It's a really good win right now. Oklahoma is not going to end the season ranked in the top 25. And the playoff committee, look, you can have your own opinion on whether they should judge that on, well, it was a ranked win at the time, and it's a reflection of how the team was playing entering that game, and the loss sent them into a spiral and all that sort of stuff. But here's the thing. Oklahoma is going to play Texas next week. Okay, Oklahoma is going to lose that football game. Then they're going to play at Ole Miss. I don't think they're going to win that football game either. Heck, they could lose at home to South Carolina very easily. They have to play at Missouri, host Bama, at LSU. Oklahoma is going to lose several football games. So the value of that win is going to be severely diminished. And then the Vols, if they were to go, let's say 9-3, would look up and say, oh, okay, so NC State, who lost to Wake Forest, they continue to be a big letdown team for me in those that I picked to be good in the preseason. NC State, not going to end the season well. Oklahoma, going to end the season horribly. And then your best win would be Kentucky at Vanderbilt. Oklahoma at 9-3, even in the SEC. Sorry, not getting you in. So now Tennessee, because they stumbled here on the road in Fayetteville, I thought they'd struggle. Did not think they'd lose a football game. I loved Arkansas to cover. I loved Vandy to cover. I didn't have the money line in my back pocket. Did not have that one on the old bingo card. But alas, here we are. You had plenty of margin for error. You didn't have to beat Bama. You didn't have to beat Georgia. You go 10-2, and the Vols are going to be in the playoff. But guess what? Now you're operating on thin ice. Thin ice. And it'll be bounce back time. Can the passing game get going? Can the running game get back over 200 yards? because Arkansas just showed you the formula. Be physical. Don't let Tennessee just run the football. Make Nico be more than a complimentary quarterback. And what do you know? Not a great game for Tennessee offensively. Not a bad game defensively. But Taylor Green found a way. That feels like Arkansas this year, who's 4-2 and should be 5-1. You realize in the one game that Arkansas lost, they went on the road to Oklahoma State, who I tried to tell you wasn't any good, and they got run out of their own building by West Virginia. Arkansas put up over 600 yards of offense in that game and lost. They lost. They swap out KJ Jefferson for Taylor Green. I didn't think that was a major upgrade, but Bobby Petrino, an offensive coordinator, has got the boys cooking. They didn't run it great, but they ran it well enough. They didn't pass it amazingly, but they passed it well enough, and they made the defensive stand at the end of the game. Nico runs out of bounds. I'm not going to criticize the kid for that play. Tennessee lost the game well before the final drive that came up short. They had the bad snap. Nico runs out and takes too much time, the final 7-8 seconds, whatever it was, and he doesn't even get a pass off and such. Yeah, that's frustrating. That's a frustrating thing for Tennessee fans to watch, but I think Vols fans are aware. Game was lost when you put up 0 points in the first half. Vols defense did its job. You should be able to score more than 20 points against Arkansas. Tennessee wasn't able to do it here. I lied. I'm going to talk about Texas A&M because this is an impressive win. And there's something that everyone needs to understand about Texas A&M, and it's that they're a good football team. Okay? That's where we're going to start. Here's where the next step is going to go. Their schedule brings into the realm of possibility in a realistic world, the Texas A&M could be battling for a playoff spot when they play Texas on November 30th at home. 41-10. I never thought Missouri was a great team. I thought they had an easy schedule. They were faltering. I thought they'd lose the game. They did. And I don't think Missouri's going to make it to the playoff as a result. They could end the season 10-2. It'd be a very weak 10-2. Even by SEC standards, it'd be a very weak 10-2. And Texas A&M beat them pretty soundly. And Missouri almost lost to Vandy. Now, apparently all the cool kids are losing to Vanderbilt, so perhaps that isn't the worst thing in the world. But Texas A&M, so many people can't stand the Aggies, especially people located in Austin, Texas. That game, this is why you play the games. They go to Starkville next week, Mississippi State, bad football team. They host LSU. That's the game. That's the game that is now going to define Texas A&M's season. Remember when they lost to Notre Dame week 1? You know why I picked Notre Dame to win that football game? Coaching continuity. Year 3, Marcus Freeman. Year 1, game 1, Mike Elko. If it had been later in the year, I said I would have liked Texas A&M to win it. And guess what? I stand by that claim. If Texas A&M Notre Dame played next week, I don't think I'm picking Notre Dame to win a football game. I've been far more impressed with Texas A&M. They blew out McNeese. They beat Florida handily. They did struggle with Bowling Green. They beat Arkansas, who we know is a solid football team, a real solid team, and then they blew Missouri out of the water. Now, there was a call early in this game, and I tweeted about it, that was egregiously bad. The officials picked up a pass interference on 4th down. Huge momentum play for Texas A&M. They go down and score, really, really bad. And I felt for Missouri fans. I did. I felt because that was a horrible call. You can't pick up that flag. I then realized it didn't matter. It wasn't going to matter because Missouri had no interest in stopping Texas A&M's offense, which put up 41 points. Connor Wegman was back and looked pretty darn good. And I also learned that even if Missouri gets the first down, I've got no confidence they were going to go down the field, score a touchdown. So Texas A&M, impressive win. Really impressive. And people get mad. Oh, Texas A&M, they just have a bunch of money. They just buy. They just do this, blah, 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 blah. What are you going to say now? As Will Zalatoris said after he finally made a putt to win a tournament on the PGA Tour, what are they going to say now? You tell me.